Hello everybody, my name is Tiffany. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you for joining me today. I'm so happy to see you. Well, I can't see you, but you can see me, and that's great. Before we begin with today's topic, please look below for links to follow me on Twitter or Instagram. I'll post techish things on there as well as on Twitter. There's some random thoughts for you too if you're interested in that sort of thing. And if ever you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on those platforms as well as the comments below. Let's do this. We're talking about realistic expectations of a junior developer. Here's the thing. I feel like when we learn how to code, I've had this whole thought process, at least for me. Maybe it's different for you, but for me, my thought process was, okay, we start a project, we learn stuff, we build on that project, we ship that project out, we do a new project, right? And in my mind, as me learning, that's what that process looked like. It looked like very much this whole, you know, these are the steps and that's how it works. And no, it's not like that in real life. In real life, it's different. As junior developers, don't go in thinking this app is gonna be from scratch. A lot of the projects that we do when learning how to code is your own projects. They are things that you start from inception to completion. And that's not exactly how it works when you get into a company. So when you work for a company, they've already been going and doing stuff and shucking and jiving, and you just joined in. You know, you're like, oh, there's a party going on. Okay, cool. I wanna join. And so a lot of times you're doing what's known as features, you're fixing bugs, those sorts of things. That's where you come in at. And so sometimes it's a tiny little feature request, right? It's like, oh yes, add this field. Or, oh yes, if you're front end, maybe they want to change the way something looks. There's different things that constitute as features, and they're not this big gigantic monstrosity of things. A lot of times when you're starting out, they're giving you the smaller things, right? And so, which is awesome. You can learn. That's what you're supposed to be doing. And so I just don't want you to walk into a job and think that you're gonna be from scratch and you're like, how am I supposed to do this? How's it supposed to work? That's not a thing. No one builds projects for a corporation from scratch unless you were there when they were building the corporation or the startup to begin with. So here's some other things that I can tell you about. You're also going to be using a framework. Okay, so if you're not familiar with frameworks, they're basically like these built up packages that you could pull into your code base, and there's pre-built methods. There's different, if you're, you know, HTML and CSS, there's different classes and stuff like that that you can utilize. And as soon as you pull that into your code base, you now have access to all of those things. What does that mean? That means your opportunities are endless, okay? You don't have to build a class that has a specific styling or anything. It may already have that styling, you know, it may already look a certain way. You may want to just update colors. So all you have to do is figure out how to kind of massage that within your own code base and make it work for the project that you're working on. I always tell people to start with HTML and CSS when they start learning how to code, but it's important to build on those things. Don't be afraid of the frameworks. I'm going to talk about that in another video, but for now, just know that yes, there's going to be frameworks at your disposal. You're going to be expected to learn those frameworks. Don't be scared of them. It's okay. Let's move on to some other things. I just wanted to reiterate this. The work that you're going to be doing is work that's going to be attached to something that's already there. So like I said, features for a project or features for a specific page. It could be features for like if they're having like a page that shows information and they want you to show more information on it, if you're working through the back end, or they want you to style those pages to look a certain way, or maybe they want you to style this one teeny tiny button or something like that. It's going to be something that is Like when you're first starting, it's not gonna be ginormous stuff that you're gonna be messing with. Oftentimes, you're not even creating new pages. You're not creating new files. You're finding the files that are already there, and then you're changing it to fit a specific specification that was specified already. And with that, it's very important that you kind of figure out the code base. Have like a general layout of what's going on in the code. Like, where does this go after this happens, right? And this is one thing that I was told, and I still am told very heavily in my position today, and it's learn how to read code. And so it's very important, and it's something I've always knew, but it's like when you're put into a work environment, it's like, oh crap, and I gotta figure out what's going on. Because again, the code has been there, it's been living, it's been breathing, and you've been breathing over there, but it's been over here. And so now you're gonna come to the code and figure out what the heck it's talking about now. And that's just gonna take time, and it's gonna take practice, but it's something that needs to be done, and it's something that's achievable, right? But at the same time, don't feel like so much pressure of like, I don't know what the crap is going on. And so that's why I say when you're learning, you know, it's important that those are just learning things. That's just one piece of what's gonna make up an entire big project, you know, that you're building. Very important that you know that. With that being said, you aren't gonna know everything, and that's okay. There's gonna be a ton of things where you're just like, I have no idea what this is, and that's okay. I encourage you to ask questions. I encourage you to go find things and search things and figure out what things are if you do not know what they are, because I guarantee you eventually it's gonna pop back up again. Other things, so there's different tools that people use, right? So as you're coding by yourself, you're like in the command line, hopefully, you're pushing to Git. Again, hopefully. And so you're doing all that by yourself, or you're doing that within a smaller group of people. The expectation is that when you join a company, you now follow their standards. You now follow their rules. And so if they use a certain way to name branches, that's then what you do. And if they push up code a specific way, that's what you do, okay? And so it's all about learning what those standards are and kind of getting more acclimated with those things. There's also things like JIRA, it's a project management tool. I know when I was working last year, we used JIRA, and I had never seen JIRA a day in my life. And I'm like, what is this, okay? Now I've heard of this thing, but I'm like, what the crap is this? This is a lot of things. And for me, it was a very bulky project management tool. And I'm like, wow, this is a lot. Very clunky, but it's very necessary for big corporations. So if that's something that you're leaning into, corporation-wise, start learning about JIRA, figure out what it is. I know it's probably not something that you just go out and buy, but at least there's probably, if not for nothing else, there's blog posts about JIRA. There's people that have posted things on the internet about JIRA. They probably have screenshots. So now you're able to kind of see what that looks like. Again, just something that you could kind of speak to when you're on the job, and there's a lot of unfamiliarity happening. The more that you can get a little bit more comfortable in your setting, the better that you're going to be able to be, and the better that you're going to be able to thrive. So there's those kind of tools, and I'm pretty sure there's a slew of other things that you're going to need to know. But those are just the things that we're going to talk about today. So again, I urge you to know that you are not going in with the expectation of I'm building an entire application. No, you are going in with, I'm gonna build some features up, I'm gonna fix some bugs, I'm gonna make things better. That's what you're supposed to be doing in your position, assuming you're a developer. So, and so, with that being said, there's gonna be some things that you don't know that we spoke of, okay? And it's okay, you know, there's different processes, there's different applications that's being used. Just go for it, make it happen. And I guarantee you, you put forth the effort, you're gonna feel so much more better about what you're doing at the end of the day. So those were the tips that I have. I will be back with you in another video, hopefully very shortly. We shall see. Again, as I said before, if you've got comments, if you liked this video, you liked this information that I shared, please drop a like below. I would very much appreciate it. Also, if you have questions or comments, please reach out to me on Instagram or Twitter, or just simply drop them down below and I will see them and I will be happy to answer them for you. Thank you all for watching this video, and I will see you in another one soon.